Let's move on to 4A Sectional 19. Good matchups in this one. We're talking Angola traveling up to Northwood and Culver battling East Noble. Let's start off with Angola Northwood. This is one of the better games if you look on paper throughout the state. You're talking about an Angola team that's 10-0 and a Northwood team that's 7-3, but plays in a pretty tough division where they are not one of the bigger schools in that conference. How do you see this playing out, especially starting with Angola's offense, which hasn't really been stopped at any point this season?
We've counted Angola out a couple of games this year. Going to Leo.
Whoa.
Garrett.
Whoa.
Notice
I said at the beginning of the season
to
watch out.
10-0.
I didn't say 10-0. I said watch out for the Hornets. I said watch out for the Hornets, and I said watch out for Central Noble.
Okay.
And so far, I said watch out for some other teams. I said watch out.
We won't mention the other ones.
I also said Huntington North might be really competitive this year. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened, but man, Angola has looked great.
I'll own it. Okay. I've said frequently this year that Angola, was going to struggle at times. There are different game challenges. This is another one of those. It's very tough for me to have a convincing argument that Angola goes on the road and beats a Northwood team that has 3 losses. One of those was to Northridge, a team that Culver knocked off last week, but a team that represented the North in 4A in the state championship game last year. So if Andy Thomas can keep it going, I'm not saying they can't win. It's just I think this is the toughest game by far that this team has faced all year long.
Well, I will agree with you on that. Here's the issue with me. Landon Gessinger at quarterback for Northwood. He's rushed for almost 1,200 yards. Braden Yoder, one of the many Yoders, it seems like every year they've got guys back there running for yards, 1,100 yards. So there's 2,000-yard guys in that backfield. They play with a level of intensity and physicality that I don't know that Angola has seen. And that's the question for me. I think Angola can score points on this defense, but I'm worried about can they stop the run, and make sure that Northwood doesn't eat up the clock on the ground.
Yeah, I think Angola has been challenged enough this year with teams that are predominantly run teams that they kind of know what to expect. And I worry maybe down the line a little bit if Angola continues to win, running into a team that's a primarily passing game that can really go vertical and stretch the field. Because Angola really hasn't faced that this year.
That's true.
I think it fits Angola's game plan defensively. They've seen it. Now, physicality, I think it's a notch up from the teams they've seen. And I think overall talent will be a step up. But in Angola's defense, I think they don't really have to change anything too drastic defensively because they've played these kind of teams. It's just a step up in quality with Northwood.
Just have to do it better, basically.
Absolutely. So if they win, I will take credit for it. If they lose, I will also take credit for it.
That's the way it works right here. It's beautiful. Culver, East Noble, that's going to be a good game up in Kendallville. Culver's been pretty dominant as far as the season goes. And East Noble kind of exercised the demons a bit last week. Going back to the rock pile over at Plymouth where they lost by 4 in week 1. They win by 1. Last week in obviously what was a key first-round sectional matchup for them. How do you see this playing out? Because, East Noble, as we talked about with Snyder, you want to be playing your best football, or any team really, playing your best football at the end of the year. We've seen East Noble take, definitely marked steps towards the end of the season to be playing better football now than they were early on.
Yeah, they're playing better football, but I can't discount the fact that Culver, the way they just demolished Northridge, was very
impressive.
And so I can't sit here and tell you I know everything about Culver, but looking in that score, you're a little eye-opening a little bit. And a team, we talked about those teams in the stacked sectional. We felt Northridge and maybe Northwood were 1-2, but Culver just demolished them last week. So all of a sudden, tough place to play in Kendallville on the turf. I get it, but this Culver team looks legit.
If you take a look at the personnel, I think the one thing that you can say if you're Luke Amstutz is we have a quarterback that has been there and has not had as much success in the postseason as he would have liked. I know Andrew McCormick, we talk to him all the time, determined young man. He's going to be, I would think absolutely amped for this game. And when your quarterback has that mentality and has had the experience that he's had and is now a senior, wants to win, wants to make a deep run, that's got to bode well for East Noble, I would think.
Yeah, you got to feel pretty good with your senior leadership. Being at home as well, it's a big game, so you'd rather play this game at home, obviously. So I do like East Noble in this one. I can't exactly tell you why I do, but I think, going up there, Culver, having to go there, 2 back-to-back really difficult games for Culver. Maybe it'll be interesting to see how they moved ahead because I think they'll feel they got over a tremendous hurdle by knocking off a Northridge team that a lot of people thought would win the sectional. Now they just go to East Noble with a couple losses. I think it's an opportunity for the Knights on Friday.
It should be very interesting. We'll be up there for that one.